The Middle East is once again facing rising tension between two of its most powerful rivals, Israel and Iran. Although there is no official declaration of war, the relationship between these two states is marked by hostility, indirect confrontation, and a constant risk of escalation. This is not a sudden crisis. It is the result of decades of strategic competition, ideological conflict, and regional power struggles. The modern hostility began after Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution. Iran's leadership adopted a strong anti-Israel stance, refusing to recognize Israel's legitimacy. Israel, in turn, began to view Iran's regional ambitions and military development as a long-term strategic threat. Over time, this rivalry evolved from political rhetoric into a complex shadow conflict. Rather than fighting directly, Israel and Iran have engaged in what analysts call a shadow war. This includes airstrikes in Syria targeting Iranian positions, cyber attacks on infrastructure, intelligence operations, targeted killings of military figures. These actions are often denied publicly, but strategically calculated behind the scenes. At the center of Israel's concern is Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists its nuclear activities are for peaceful energy purposes. Israel fears that nuclear capability could eventually shift the balance of power permanently. Even without a nuclear weapon, enrichment capacity creates leverage, and leverage creates fear. This nuclear question remains one of the most sensitive triggers in the entire conflict. At the center of Israel's concern is Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists its nuclear activities are for peaceful energy purposes. Israel fears that nuclear capability could eventually shift the balance of power permanently. Even without a nuclear weapon, enrichment capacity creates leverage, and leverage creates fear. This nuclear question remains one of the most sensitive triggers in the entire conflict. In recent years, tensions have intensified due to regional instability, including conflicts involving Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah activity along Israel's northern border, and Iranian-backed groups targeting U.S. forces in the region. Each incident increases the risk of miscalculation. A single strike, if misinterpreted, could trigger a chain reaction. Israel possesses advanced air power, intelligence systems, and missile defense technology such as the Iron Dome. Iran possesses long-range missiles, drone fleets, naval capabilities in the Persian Gulf, and a large reserve force. Neither side seeks full-scale war, but both prepare for it. This balance is known as deterrence, peace maintained through the threat of overwhelming retaliation. The conflict's importance extends beyond the region. The Strait of Hormuz, near Iran, is one of the most critical oil shipping routes in the world. Any disruption would impact global energy prices. Major powers like the United States, Russia, and China monitor developments closely because stability in this region affects the global economy. The greatest danger is not intentional war, it is accidental war. History shows that conflicts often expand due to miscalculation, emotional decision-making, or domestic political pressure. The more fronts that are active, Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, the Gulf, the higher the chance that one spark could ignite a larger confrontation. So what is the solution? First, direct communication channels must remain open. Even adversaries need back-channel dialogue. Second, nuclear transparency and international inspections must continue to prevent misinterpretation. Third, regional de-escalation agreements involving proxy groups are essential. Fourth, confidence-building measures such as maritime safety agreements in the Persian Gulf could reduce accidental clashes. But ultimately, the real solution is strategic restraint. Neither Israel nor Iran benefits from a full-scale war. The economic, humanitarian, and geopolitical costs would be enormous. The future of this rivalry depends not on who has more missiles, but on who chooses stability over escalation. The Middle East has seen enough cycles of violence. The real victory would be preventing the next war, before it begins. Do you think this tension will escalate, or cool down? Comment below.